Hi folks, Jim Riley here from Riley's Farm. It is Wednesday, May 14th, 2025, and this is a crisis update. Maybe I should be, but I am utterly not ashamed to ask for your help from time to time because I think what we do here has enormous cultural value. Just like our First Amendment fight, we really are in this all together. Ponder America's future. It can proceed in one of two general directions. We will descend into a jungle full of identity conflict where all the races and all the ideologies demonize each other, picking out oppressors and oppressed, assigning blame, asking for preference, lining up for reparations, and settling into a big hot mess of whining victims. Or we can celebrate the victories of the American story, and we can encourage our children to choose a positive identity for themselves based on the blessings of their history. I use that word identity for a very specific reason. When I was younger, the constant advice was to be yourself. And there's some merit to that. We should be transparent. We shouldn't be fake. We should never say just what we think people want to hear. But in a very real sense, we choose our identity. We are blank slates, and we decide whether we want to be stand-up comedians or jazz musicians or air traffic controllers. We make an investment into either being caring or callous, aloof or present, accountable or flaky. In the 18th century, when a hardened criminal faced his execution in front of a large public crowd, his tearful confession and his gruesome execution was a reminder to the young. Don't pick the identity of a thug, a criminal, a rapist, a murderer. It doesn't end well. At the end of the 19th century, American children were encouraged to ponder, among other things, the Horatio Alger stories, where poor children with harsh backgrounds rose above their circumstances and achieved prosperity by virtue of honesty and hard work. I have a 1905 New Hampshire public school textbook on my shelf. Among other things, it outlines the heroic life of General John Stark, who sacrificed himself as a teenager to save his brothers in a scrap with the Indians, and then rose to be a very fearsome military genius in the Revolutionary War. So what was New Hampshire back then telling their young people? Very simple, be a John Stark. It's not a bad identity at all. Over the course of the 20th century, the identity supermarket experienced a significant quality decline. As early as the 1930s, the gangster tough guy became a hero in cinema. Balancing that, the virtuous town-saving cowboy was also on the shelf, but the general trend was downward. American teenagers began idolizing irreverence, cynicism, and disrespect. The slide from all of that in the 1950s to the present day P. Diddy and Cardi B, well, need I say more? A confession. I tried to articulate this in my book, but I think I failed. Most people have their identity crisis in their late teens or early 20s. I had it in my mid-30s. I looked around at Bill Clinton's America and I concluded, I don't like where this is going. At the time, I had fallen in love with 18th century living history, and I began wearing the clothing of the Lexington farmers all the time, and I mean all the time. My family had to put up with me looking like a Minuteman, but I was making a statement, a kind of parable. We have lost our path. We need to go back and see where we made the wrong turn. It wasn't bad for business. I was a kind of walking billboard, And maybe that slightly reduced people's sense that I had totally lost it. But I don't apologize for my passion there. We need to pick a culture. We need to pick an identity. What will it be, America? P. Diddy or Thomas Jefferson? If you know a little dance school that teaches ballet, or a Shakespeare company introducing children to the stage, or an independent filmmaker making great movies that are redemptive, or a living history place like ours, help them, help them. I don't think we really understand how big the stakes are.